Hey man, this is the coach.
And I'm the Beacon, and this is the Point Blank Perspectives podcast. So,
Hey.
Coach,
Yeah?
how you doing, man?
Whew. Frustrated.
Yo, for people that's not in the room, I asked that question on purpose because this boy's in here on fire.
Oh my gosh.
So everybody who listening, y'all already know we've been trying to figure it out as we go. So we've been trying to get new equipment and add things to the podcast to, hopefully add to the quality of the sound and things of that nature. And that's where the coach typically comes in because that's what he handles. I handle all like the software and social media stuff. And it didn't quite go his way today as he was trying to work with some new microphones that he just purchased. So.
Nah, it didn't. It didn't go that way at all. It went downhill.
This is the one time I wish we was a video podcast.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you.
But anyway, because of that, today we're going to be talking about when things don't go your way. That's going to be the topic today because I'm pretty sure the coach has a lot to say.
Nah, I don't know what to say right now. I'm trying to figure this out. Why it did not go my way.
Oh man, that's way too funny. At least to me it is. I mean, but I do know that feeling of being frustrated and when things don't go your way, especially when you have one of those days when it feels like nothing goes right.
Yeah.
But I guess just to kick the conversation off, how in all seriousness, how are you feeling right now with that situation?
I have this button that in my mind I push. It's called the fuck it button.
Okay, thank you for the edit. Thank you very much.
That's what it is. I just what the heck? Whatever's gonna happen. That's just the attitude I have. And then just try to go back and figure out what went wrong. But when it first happens, it's like, you gotta be joking me.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now with me.
Well, as far as me, I mean, today I'm feeling okay. But to be honest with you, it's been frustrating for me these last couple of months, I'll say, just with, all the health things that I've been dealing with. Mm-hmm. So just, finally getting to a point where I'm starting to feel more like myself because, being in a position where you're used to moving around and doing what you want to do and, just feeling healthy overall and then not having that, it can become frustrating, especially when it extends beyond a certain amount of time. And for me, it's been, almost a month and a half, if not maybe longer, of, just going through all the health stuff that I went through and then just trying to recover from it. So.
Okay. Like, I guess my initial reaction when something doesn't go wrong, when something just goes wrong, mm-hmm. I guess it depends on what it is. Yes, and I have learned over the time and years is you can't just react. You gotta if you're able to figure it out, pause for a minute, like, all right, hold on, let me see what's going on. Because if you just react, you can go down a rabbit hole where everything you do is just going wrong and you don't know how to get out of it. Make any sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I live by that. Like, I try not to. I always say your first reaction is the wrong reaction because normally your first reaction is an emotional reaction.
No. I may disagree with that because it depends on what the situation is.
No, but I'm saying even so, right?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
In most cases, if you think about it, your first reaction is probably the wrong reaction. Because, like, give me an example of something where you disagree with what I just said.
Okay, I'm using myself.
No, I'm saying scenario. Forget you, but I'm saying just give me a scenario of what you think that might be different.
Okay. All right. If a man is married, mm-hmm. and his wife tells him, or he see his wife getting disrespected, his initial reaction is to, I'm going to handle that right now. And that's why I say it depends on what it is. Because most men that's married, they're going to defend their wife. If I'm looking at it in my face in real time, I'm going to defend it.
Right.
Now, the only time where it may go wrong is if someone really gets hurt. If someone gets hurt, then you still may not at that present moment. You like, yeah, that's right. But if something seriously happens and you got time to think about it, like, dang, I might not have should have handled it that way. Yeah, but the initial, you're not thinking anything is wrong.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that, and I don't disagree with the fact that if a husband sees his wife being disrespected or whatever, that you shouldn't retaliate or react or whatever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, whatever that reaction is, 9 times out of 10, the initial reaction that you have, because it's fresh, it's a bad one. Not because it's bad that you're going to do it. It's bad because of what the consequences of it could be.
At that point, you don't care.
Right.
Right.
But that still don't mean
it's right.
that is the best reaction.
Right. And you're right. And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if someone dies, it just went.
Right. And now you protected your wife, but now she ain't gonna never see you again. Because now you're in jail.
Right. Right.
Where in reality,
or you might have died.
Yeah. Where in reality, either it might not have been that deep, like maybe you saw it as disrespect, maybe she didn't. Or if it was truly disrespect, maybe it would have been better for you to just like get her away from the situation rather than you go over there and just react. Because some people were just going over there, ain't no talking. Right. Depending on what happened, it might not be no talking. And again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that if that's how you feel and if it was at that level. Because some things require you to go with your first reaction.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in theory, your first reaction normally is your wrong reaction because you're looking at something you didn't have any time to process. You didn't have any time to process it, and now that you found, and by the time you do process what you did, you've already done it.
Right.
And so that becomes the problem.
Okay, I see
because
what you're
now
saying.
you look back and you're like, oh man, now I might have to go to jail, or now I might have to pay these lawyers, or now I might, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas when you get time to step back and just process what you're looking at or what you heard, it's like, all right, well, how can I handle this in another way? But again, everybody don't always have time to do that or have the temperament to do that.
All right, so let me tell you what an older gentleman told me. And I believe it's true. If you do something and you sit back and you got time to process it, and you say, if this situation come up again 100 times, I would react the same way. Then that's what you were supposed to do.
I agree.
Even if it's going wrong.
I agree. Well, I agree to a certain extent.
But if you sit up there and you 100 times say, but dang, maybe I shouldn't did that, then you should not have done that in the first place.
I agree to a certain extent.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think it depends on the awareness and maturity of the person. Because some people will do something and it's wrong. Like everybody else around them can look at them and say, you could have did that a different way. And they might say, I don't care. I would have did it 1,000 times over. And in some cases that might be fair.
Right.
Because again, if it's something where it involves somebody who you love that was disrespected or something like that, you might feel like, oh, 1,000 times over, I'd do the same thing.
Right.
But if you really thought about it and it was a way for you to be able to diffuse that situation or remove that person from that situation and still be able to either have your freedom or not be jeopardized or have to deal with no consequences, I'm pretty sure that person would rather do that. Because, well, let me not say they'd rather do that because, again, if they really feel strongly about it, then, that's what they're going to stand on.
For a person, if you're talking to a parent and they're talking about their child, all bets are off. There is nothing they're doing wrong. And you have some parents, well, most parents, I'm gonna put the scenario out there. I'm gonna put the percentage out there and say 100% of what I'm getting ready to say. I believe 100% of parents would die for their kids. No question, no second guess. If I'm going to defend my kid, and if I die, I'm fine with that. Especially when we're talking about little kids. Now, as your kid starts to get older, it's like, okay, wait a minute, hold on now. You're going to deal with your kid, but when we're talking about a little kid and you feel as though that kid can't defend themselves, it doesn't matter. And I agree with that. There's nothing that you didn't do nothing wrong.
Right.
Even if you come to the point where you actually killed someone,
Right.
you did nothing wrong because you are defending someone
Who can't defend
that
themselves.
cannot defend themselves. And other people may say, "Oh, well, you could have thought about it." No, there is no thinking about
But
it.
that's hindsight.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
hindsight.
In real time, you handle what you got to handle.
Right.
So, that's how it goes. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real. And again, me talking about that and me talking about, the first reaction being the wrong reaction is it's a hindsight comment because it's one of those things where it's like it's not happening in the moment because I know myself, I've been guilty of that in my past. Like I've been guilty of going with my first reaction and it always landed me on the wrong side of things.
I blink. I think that everyone has done it in their life. Everybody, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everyone has reacted on their first reaction. But again, I also believe that it depends on the situation
I agree.
that makes you react. I always tell, well, I don't always tell people, but it's when let's say you have a sibling and your sibling is married and now your sibling tells you this person hit me. Your first reaction is to, I'm going
Crash out.
Right, crash straight out there. There's no talking. This is my sister or my brother. Mostly it's just sister.
Right.
And then when you find out she got in his face, he hit her first. I mean, she hit him first. He's just defending himself. You be like, oh man. So I tell people when your sibling gets married, you gotta. That's a fine line, thin, icy sled slope that you must walk, and it depends on, well, I guess how tight you and the person is. Would we want to say that? How tight you and your sibling is?
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you even get involved? That's another thing. Would you even want to get? Would you get involved? Especially your sibling. And if your sister flies off the handle and got a smart mouth, and you already warned your sister, come on, you can't jump him in face, because if you do, this is what's going to happen. And she has a pattern of doing that with her previous boyfriends. And then all of a sudden, your sister gets married, and let's say she's been married for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, that situation happens. Do you react right away? Or do you say, well, you know what, hold on, let me, because I know her pattern. I know her past. Do I just react and go at him? Or do I sit there and be like, all right, hold on, I'm not even getting involved in that? See, that's
a hard one for me to comment on because I didn't grow up with siblings.
Right.
Like I have siblings, but I didn't grow up with them.
Right.
But at the same time, I do believe that because I had a conversation like that with my sister before.
Okay.
And this was like back in the day when life was different. I'll say it that way.
Okay, that's fine.
And I remember me telling my sister, "Don't tell me about nothing unless you want to handle." That's what I told her straight up.
Okay.
Because I didn't want. At the time, we were like just getting to know each other.
Okay.
And I realized, because I'm older than her, I realized that, I was big brother. And it was exciting for her to have, a big brother. I pick her up from school, girlfriends and all that. But I didn't want her to get into a situation where she felt comfortable being like, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, and now she got me,
Crashing out.
crashing out for no reason.
Okay.
All because I'm thinking people doing stuff to her and this and that. So I made it real clear to her, like, listen, don't tell me about nothing unless, you know what I'm saying? But I also told her, too, like, how to conduct herself.
Right.
Don't be out here getting in dudes' faces. Don't be out here putting your hands on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Because if you don't do those things, and if you ain't pulling me into stupid situations, then we should be good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you lose credibility when you start pulling people into stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of times things, like when we're talking about things going wrong, it can be at work.
Yeah.
At work you can think one thing and it's just went wrong. You can say, well, I'm gonna try to fix this, and you don't fix it. And like, I'm not in the corporate world, so I'm not too sure how.
I'm gonna tell you right now, in the corporate world, your first reaction is the wrong reaction. I'm gonna tell you immediately.
Okay, all right.
When something go wrong, your first reaction is the wrong reaction, because 9 times out of 10, you probably want to put hands on somebody.
Okay.
Straight up.
Yeah, and that's and same thing. Since I drive trucks, there's a lot of times I want to run somebody right into the guardrail.
Right.
But I know that can't work.
Right.
I know for a fact that I cannot run you into a guardrail. So I'm just going to just pray for you. That's my first reaction. No, that ain't my first reaction. My first reaction is to go right to the guardrail and just keep on going like I never even seen you.
See, now before you crash out of corporate America, it depends on the setting. But most of the time, you just go to the bathroom. Or you excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. You probably don't even got to go to the bathroom.
And do that mean you're going to say something to the person in the bathroom?
No, that means you're excusing yourself from the situation when it just happened.
Okay, I just wasn't.
You have to, because you can either respond to that person or you can remove yourself from that situation. And it's not too much stuff you can say, like, especially if you're in a real crucial meeting, it's not too many things you can say to get you out of that situation.
Okay.
So the bathroom is perfect. Ain't nobody gonna stop you from going to the bathroom.
Okay.
So most people that work in corporate America, I'm telling you.
All right, so now let me ask this. I got to ask you this question in the corporate world. I know y'all do a lot of emails. I don't understand when someone sends a nasty email. I couldn't tell if you send me a nasty email. So if someone does, do you respond right away?
No.
Okay.
You have to do multiple drafts. Sometimes you even have to have somebody else look at the email before you send it.
Oh.
Because I've been in that situation.
Oh, okay.
Somebody will send you an email and you looking at the email like, who are they talking to?
But that's where my problem comes in. How do you know if you're being disrespected in the email?
I mean, you know.
Okay, then. All right.
You know. I mean, because it's not like texting. Where texting is kind of like free fall. People send you all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Sometimes you can't tell the tone.
Right.
But in business, most of the time, you're talking about like a project, or you're like there's a certain way that you're talking to each other.
Okay.
So when somebody starts to make it personal, or they start to talk about like your performance, or basically if it's not about the business at hand, and if it's not respectful, that's where you feel some type of way. And the other thing in corporate America too is if somebody adds other people to the email and they're being disrespectful to you.
Oh, they are?
So it's one thing for somebody to question you or to, have something negative to say about you, and it's just you and them on the email.
Okay.
Because that's a private conversation.
All right.
It's a whole nother thing for them to say something negative or something disrespectful and have other people on the email, because now that whatever that person said is visible to everyone on that email, and depending on who's on that email depends on how people might view you going forward.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so it's like two people fighting, and they got the people that they putting on the email has the video camera. Is
right.
Okay, all right.
It's almost like everybody's just getting their popcorn.
Okay.
And waiting to see what's going to happen.
Okay. And the person, so you're saying a person that's being disrespected through the email should just what? respond.
They have to figure out a productive way to respond.
You can't confront that person.
I mean, it depends on the environment. I can't say that you can't
Okay,
because I don't know. It depends on the environment. But I'm just saying professionally, what I've learned is, or what I know is that there's a certain way to go about that. You never want to go tit for tat with somebody through email.
Okay.
You always want to keep things business.
Because that's a paper trail.
It's a paper trail, but it's also a bad look on you.
Oh, okay.
In a sense, even if the other person disrespected you, it's a bad look on you to be going tit for tat with them. Because if your performance is your performance, you don't need to do that.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Most people that try to do stuff like that is because their performance is not up to par, and they trying to either throw you under the bus and use you as a scapegoat, or they just trying to make themselves look better because they know they're not up to par.
Okay. The coach learned something new about people that work in the corporate world because I've never known that.
Yeah, because I know, when things go wrong in an email, it can get bad quick. Because, again, if you confront that person within that space, within that corporate space, now you look too aggressive.
Oh, okay.
Like if you physically confront that person to address them on what they said. Now you can, in the corporate world, what you can do is you can set up a one-on-one and have a conversation. But you can't address them. Like you can't walk up to their desk and be like, yo, why you send me that email? Who you thought you was talking to? Like you can't do none of that.
Oh, okay.
You can't do none of that in corporate America.
You just got to basically take it.
Yes and no.
Okay. All right.
You got to pick your spots.
Okay.
You got to pick your spots, and you have to be very strategic in how you respond to things.
I'm glad I'm not in the corporate world because they'd have been escorting me out the building immediately. Listen, like Mr. Rice, come on out this building.
But honestly, it's rare though. Like that don't happen a lot.
Okay.
At least in my experience, and I worked in corporate America for 11 years.
Okay.
And I can honestly say there was probably only 2 times via email where I felt like, who is this person talking to? Okay.
So it's what you really feel when things can go wrong in the corporate world.
Right.
Okay, got you.
Right.
Okay. So that would be the same thing as a marriage. When things go wrong is, okay, let me give you an example. I'm going to talk about myself.
I ain't got none.
Right. It's for me. One time I in my mind, I rehearsed my joke, what I was going to say to Angie. Oh, I rehearsed this joke, and I'm like, oh, this is a good one. And I say it. And to me, it was funny. The look on her face was like, what? And at that moment, what do they always say? You might have to edit this part too, where they say, this is when he realized he fucked up.
It was at this moment.
Right. And when I said it, it was like, ooh, I don't think I should have said that. And then when I looked up, there was no laughter coming from her. I was like, oh, this is going bad. And so as a man, because men, we do that a lot. So as a man, we thinking, oh man, this is, how do I now backtrack? And it's like, see, no, I was just joking. It's too late now. You just went wrong all the way around the board. Yeah, it's not a good thing. That's when things go wrong. In marriage, it's a lot of times things can go wrong. It's what a person perceives or what you're trying to say, and you're trying to say something and you're not communicating, or you're getting frustrated when you're communicating it. The person is just, and especially if the person's just sitting there and they're not saying nothing, they're not arguing, they're not doing nothing, they're just sitting there listening to you and listening and looking at you. They're taking all of it in, right. And most of the time, I'm gonna go percentage wise, 75%. You went wrong, and you went and you know you're going wrong, but sometimes us men, our ego will let us not, try to recover. We just be like, well, I'm just gonna keep on going down this road I was saying in the first place. So yeah, that's
I mean, but even in the single
okay.
space, I mean, things cannot go your way in multiple ways. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you can like somebody and they not like you back.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? After you put effort in,
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Okay, got you,
You
got
could
you.
you could go on a date and you know in your mind, you know, you had it all planned out. It was supposed to be the smooth thing, and then for whatever reason, it don't go your way. Been there, done that. But that one wasn't bad though.
Okay.
That one was just one of those things where I had took the person to a nice restaurant or whatever, and when we got there, just everything about the restaurant, even though it was a really nice restaurant, everything about the experience was just terrible.
So my question to you is, do you somewhat blame yourself for something you can't control?
No.
Okay,
No, not
okay,
at all. Not
okay.
at all. Not at all. Because I mean, that's just my philosophy in general. Like, I don't worry about things I can't control.
Okay. Okay.
But it's just one of those things where even the date laughed. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's how bad things was. It was
Okay,
like,
all right.
we went there, we looked at this menu, we all got our order down, and then all of a sudden, they don't have the stuff that we wanted to order.
Oh, okay.
When I first got there, you know, I take her jacket off, sit her down. I go to sit in my seat. It's a thumbtack stuck me in.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's
So when I tell you, like,
yeah, it's going wrong.
yeah, it was one of those type situations.
And when you're on a date and you're trying to at the end of the night have a good time, we'll put it that way.
Right.
You don't want to really let her see how angry you can get.
Right.
You trying to be like, all right, let me be cool because I still got a chance.
I was about to say it, and honestly, it works to your advantage to not get angry.
Right.
Because a lot of the time they realize, like, all right, he put some thought into this. It's not, well, at least I'll say it this way. In that instance, that's how it went. It was like she knew how much effort I had put into it.
Okay.
She realized like things weren't going right. And, you know, we both were just laughing about it as the night progressed.
That's all you could do.
Yeah, because it was just, but again, it was me not allowing myself to get, you know, consumed with the fact that everything's not going right.
Okay.
Because some people when things not going right, they just shut down.
They don't know how to
Or they
react.
just get pissed off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And now they angry at her, they angry at the waiter, they angry
Right.
at, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You angry at everybody.
Yeah. And, you know, you ruined the whole night by doing that.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm like, as bad as this is, I still got to make sure we have a good time. So
Right.
that's how I tried to keep
Okay.
it. But I'm just saying that to say, like, obviously not marriage, but, you know, single people, you know, they have situations where things don't go right and they could be bad too.
Right.
But
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
it's
That's the way I
definitely
can say it's tough when things go wrong.
tough. Yeah.
You know. I guess the hardest part about what do you think about the hardest part about when things go wrong? I don't.
So I think now that I'm older,
Okay.
my mindset allows me to be able to deal with it a lot better. I can tell you when I was younger, you don't expect, when the younger you are, most of the time, you don't expect for things to go wrong. You get a plan in your mind and you think that's how it's going to go.
Okay, I understand you now. Okay.
So when I was younger, I would get an idea in my mind or a plan in my mind. I'm thinking that's how it's going to go. And when it didn't go that way, now I'm pissed off. Now I'm depressed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Whereas as I got older, I started to realize, like, most of the time when you think about it, things don't go your way.
Yeah.
Like, if you really think about it, most of the time, things do not go the way that you anticipate them going or the way that you planned to go, that they would go or that you hoped that they would go. And as you develop that understanding, you eventually get to a point where you say, you know what? I'm not going to let this stress me out. I know what I want to do. I'm hoping that it works out. And if it works out, great. If there's a roadblock thrown here or, you know, obstacle thrown there, you know, we'll deal with that when we get there.
So would saying that, would you say that when that happens to someone and they get flustered and they don't know what to do, are you saying I feel as though that person is not flexible?
What you mean? I don't think I understand what you mean.
All right, so say I go on a date and I'm doing this or whatever, whatever's going on as a married person, and a situation come up and it just went wrong. I need to be able to be flexible, pivot, and be like, all right, hold on, let me move let me move differently. Making any sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does.
You know, I need to move. I need to be able to be flexible where, okay, that went wrong, but that can't ruin the rest of, like you're saying, it shouldn't ruin the rest of the rest of my day.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I went on a job interview one time, and this is a long time ago, and I didn't get the job. But I'll never forget the one thing that the guy said. It was like a sales job, and those sales jobs, they always trying to make sure you have a positive attitude, because they know as a salesperson, you're going to get rejected a lot.
Yeah.
And so the guy said, and I think it was like one of the opening things he said, you know, when I wake up every morning, he said, I have 100 things that I'm trying to do for that day. And he said, my mindset is that I probably won't get a chance to do 99 of those things, or 99 of those things probably won't happen.
Okay.
But if I can at least get one thing to go right that day out of the 100, I had a good day.
That's real talk.
And when he said that, like I said, I didn't get that job, but I've never forgot that he said that.
That's real talk.
And that goes back to my point about when I was younger.
Okay.
Because when you're younger, when you got 100 things planned for your day, you expect at least for 90 of them to go right, or you know, a good percentage of them to go right.
Right.
But there are days, and there's probably a lot of days for some people, where most of the things that you anticipated doing or wanted to do probably don't happen.
Exactly.
So again, to his point, if you can at least get one thing to go right, you know, that's a great day. But that's a mindset, though.
Right. And also, I believe that when something doesn't go right, like you're saying, and I guess I'm going to say, you have that entitlement. You sometimes we as we're younger, we have the entitlement because we're being baby. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. And not realize, and then our parents are not telling us things ain't always going to go your way. You're going to have to understand that. And if some people don't understand it, or some people not trying to understand it, some people feel as though I'm privileged. It depends on the situation, especially, and I feel bad for people that in the service department, in the restaurant hospitality department, because it's probably a lot of times they run into where it's not going their way, but they still have to be professional, especially when someone has that entitlement behavior, especially if, I booked this. Well, that's not what it is. It's this price, and then all hell breaks loose. I mean, come on. I have stood there and looked at sometimes when me and Angie may be checking in, go somewhere, and the person may be in front of us. And I mean, the person is telling them, well, this price is here because you did not do X, Y, Z to get that price. Oh, well, you could just do it. Well, it didn't go, it's not going your way. And now you're starting to belittle the person that's trying to help you out.
Right.
No, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. But people do it all the time.
Those people that act like that, I believe that their parents let them win games when they was kids.
Yeah, and I don't believe you should let kids win games at all.
At all.
That's a total different topic.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's the same topic, because I'm telling you, I guarantee you, a lot of people who act like that, who crash out when things go wrong or they don't get their way, they probably was allowed to win games when they was kids.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because you gotta teach them while they're young. Everything ain't gonna go your way. You gotta teach them. I told my niece grandmother that, because I went over there one time. I think my niece was like 8 at the time, maybe, or 9 or something like that. And we playing. I think we was playing Connect 4 or Uno or something like that. And I'm whooping her behind. I'm whooping her. And she like, you ain't gonna let her win one time? Nope.
No.
And it wasn't because I was trying to be mean. I told her straight up. I said no, because she has to understand, like, nobody's gonna let you do anything in this world.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna always show up to things, give your best, and win.
Right.
Sometimes you're gonna show up and give your best, and it's not gonna be good enough.
Right. Someone is someone is better than
Somebody's
you.
better than you. Somebody just don't think that what you had, even if it was better than whatever else was there.
Right.
Like there's gonna be a lot of reasons why it happens.
Right.
But you can't shut down or get all bent out of shape when that happens.
Right.
And the thing that made me so proud about my niece was that happened, and at the time her grandmother was feeling like, daggone, like you ain't let her win nothing. But the very next time I went over there, which was like a couple months later, or maybe even a few weeks or whatever, I know it was a little gap. But the next time I went over there, she was asking me to play the game. And as I'm watching her play, she was so much better. Okay. I was still whooping her behind.
Okay.
But she was way better than what she was,
right.
Because now that taught her, let me pay attention.
Right.
Let me have a strategy. Let me show up to this and have an idea of, how to respond instead of me just throwing cards out there, and instead of me just putting checkers in the thing for Connect Four. It was like, let me think it through and try to figure it out. And so for me, that's what I want to see.
Okay.
But I'm saying, hopefully, that instilled in her that she'll take that through life. That you just when things don't go right, it's not that you give up. It's not that you get mad. It's you just figure out, okay, that didn't work out today. I'll come back to it later, and hopefully I have a better result.
Right, and that also when you're saying that about your niece, that remind me of. I believe you should tell kids no just to see how they react, even if you have it, and like no, you can't have that.
Right.
I need to see how you react, and because like you said, things are going to go wrong. And how you react, I need to see this to say, okay, well, hold on. We need to straighten that out immediately. Because like what you're saying, some things you're not going to be able to control.
Right.
And you can't get mad or throw stuff or all that. You can't do that.
Right.
And especially what you're saying, depending on where you're at. You can't just throw stuff and be mad or disrespect someone because that's not good.
Right.
So there's times when Freddie may want something, and I'd be like, no.
Right.
And it hurt me that I'm telling you no, but I need to teach you a lesson at the same time. So yeah, that's little kids. So parents, let me just say this: parents out there, you can tell your kids no. They don't have to have everything. No is a good thing sometimes.
Please tell your kids no.
Yeah, please tell them no sometimes.
Because I ain't got time to be dealing with your kids.
Or even married people, you can tell your spouse no. Sometimes it's good to be selfish. Okay, it didn't go their way. No. So now when let me ask you this question. Let's say something isn't going your way.
In what situation?
Whatever.
Okay.
During the day, something is not going your way. Do you find yourself starting to blame others that it's not going your way?
No.
I have done that. I have done that. I have done that.
I never do that. I'm gonna put it to you like this, and this is mindset thing because I'm big on mindset. Anything in my life that goes wrong is my fault.
I'm going to disagree with you. You have done it, and I'm gonna tell you when.
When?
Anytime you sit up there and play sports, and it's not just you by yourself. If you have teammates, you will blame that person for something.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
That's different though, because but it might be their fault though.
My question to you was, my initial question.
I know, but I thought you were talking about like stuff just with me, because that's different. That's a team and group thing.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about like if.
Okay, we'll go with that was just a joke.
I mean, but to be fair, again, in the sports thing, where I'm at now in my life, I'm looking at it like, dang, I could have made a couple more shots. I could have did this. I could have did that. Like that's how I look at things when they're not going.
No, I don't.
I'm just telling you that's.
No, I get it. I don't look at that.
Now.
So would you agree if you're getting ready to switch up a little bit now?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I'm about to say there are some scenarios in which it's like, the person could have threw me the ball a little more. You know what I'm saying? The person could have passed the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So it is some of that, but
right.
But for the most part, I'll say I'm always trying to take accountability for myself and figure out, if something's not going right, either how can I salvage the rest of the day or whatever that situation is, or how can I be better in that situation? And it's not an easy thing to do.
Right. I guess for me, besides the sports, that was just a joke. That was just a joke. But no, I'm serious. But that was a joke. But for me, if something's going wrong and I know it's your fault, I won't blast you. I'll pull you to the side like, "Dag, man, why'd you blasey, you know?" And they may say, "Oh man," and then I'll say, "It's all right, it's fine." But I know when I say, "Oh, it's fine, it's all right," I know not to put myself in that situation with you because I already know the outcome. And now, if I put myself in that situation with you again, and I know the outcome, I can't even be mad at you because I already knew it. I knew what was coming, so I can't be mad at you. You know what? I got it. So there are times when I will blame you silently to myself. Miss Mofo, he said that, but I won't blast you because you probably feel bad, and then because your body language is going to tell me a lot, and then you know what? I ain't gonna say that. I'll wait till later on. I may not even say nothing to you right that whole day, but we're going to have that conversation on, "Dang man, why'd you do that?" Now it depends if my job's up on the line. I will confront you. There's no email. I'm going to confront you. I'm still not going to blast you in front of people. I'm still going to pull you to the side. Because one thing I was taught and I noticed, when a person sit up there and they rah, 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 okay. But the moment you pull them to the side or you get close to them, you can look at them and say, "Nah, this person don't want no trouble."
That's like 95% of corporate America. Probably 98% of corporate America.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, because they be knowing like you can't physically do nothing. So a lot of them, when they do get out of hand or get out of line, that's what it is. Like they gonna get out of line because they know in that environment there's none of that is acceptable. Like perfect example. If I when I used to work at UPS or whatever,
Okay.
like there was physical altercations all the time.
Okay.
It wasn't the right thing to do, but it happens because you in a warehouse.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And people in there overnight working close by each other. Somebody might bump you or something like that, or maybe somebody having a bad day and somebody talking trash or whatever. And I'm not saying it was fights, but there's at least a little bit of a confrontation.
It's going to happen.
Whereas in corporate America, there is none of that. Everybody's expected to be professional. Everybody's expected to be respectful and all that kind of stuff. So when somebody crosses the line verbally, the expectation is not for you to get up out your seat and go over and punch them in the face. Like nobody's going to expect that. So when you do that, now you pretty much out yourself of a job or of the situation because that's just not the culture.
So you're telling me, and I want to make sure I got this clear, and then we'll move on. If someone sits up there and disrespect me, I can't do what I would do. Pull them to the side later on and say, "Yo, why'd you?"
You can.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm saying you have to be careful in how you do that. Because, and I don't remember exactly how you said you do it at your job, but if you just walk up to that person in front of everybody, if that's acceptable at your job, that's not acceptable in corporate America.
Okay.
You have to find a way to be able to like literally do that out of plain sight.
So
and have that conversation.
So off the grounds, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Off the grounds is fine. But you can even be on grounds. But you just have to go into like a private office or.
No, I'm saying I can wait for you off the grounds and then we can discuss it.
How you waiting for him? How you waiting for him? Don't just be standing outside like to fight out to school with your hands in your pocket, look like you ready to.
No. You're right.
How are you waiting for? How everybody else leaving
and I'm
going
following
to pick up
you.
their kids and you just standing there and talking about, I'm just waiting for the boy to come outside. Wait, what?
Right, you can't do that. Okay.
First of all, security gonna come and get you.
Okay, you're right. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, that don't work.
Okay, corporate America, you have to have more. You have to have more self-control. You're telling me.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
You have to have a lot of self-control.
Because if you don't, then that's when things will go wrong for you, even if you were right.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I now understand. No matter what the person has done to you.
Correct. Because most of the time, people who do that are people who either have a lot of
seniority.
Seniority, one. maybe they have a higher position than you, or it may be somebody who just might be the same level as you, but it's somebody who they view as high potential.
Okay.
And so when they see a lot of promise in somebody and that person does that, depending on what they think of you, depends on how you respond.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah, and it's a lot of I guess it is. I can say it, a lot of nepotism in corporate America too. So it's a lot of people that are there whose parents work in corporate America.
Got you.
You know, and I'm not saying that they might be there because of their parents, but I'm just saying
they got them a job.
You don't know who their parent is.
Okay.
And their parent could be somebody high up. So now you get into something with them and you right. But if it gets back to their parent and their parent is somebody who got some stroke,
gotcha.
That could be a bad situation.
That's a bad situation, even though you're right.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of politics in corporate America. You got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in corporate America.
It's a good place to be. It's just everybody not built for it.
You got to know how to maneuver.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Okay. That makes yeah.
So the one question I had for you,
go ahead,
because I was thinking about it as you were talking, was when things don't go your way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter how you respond versus whether you're with, I guess in your case, your wife? Well, no, I won't even say it that way. Whether you're with a female or a male?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying that, when I have to, you know the person you're with, you know their mentality. Mm-hmm. Now, if something happens and it may go wrong, when I'm saying going wrong, I mean jail, death, somebody's getting hurt. Mm-hmm. If I know the dude or the female I'm with is a hothead, I'm not even responding. I'm gonna let you do it, and I'm gonna tell the person, yo, no, it's good. That person's right.
Right.
I'm going just so the person, because I know when something goes wrong and you with someone and they know that you're being done wrong, they'll fly off the handle.
Right.
And now you're trying to calm things down, but you got to calm this person down because they just went, no, this is wrong. I get it, but we can't, we got to be cool. Mm-hmm. You know, no, I'm ready. No, we can't do that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it depends on, especially if you're out and I'm out with Angie. Mm-hmm. No, I have to be cool.
Right.
And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not unless I'm at that point where I have no other choice but to defend her. Mm-hmm. But if it can be, you know, some way where we can get away from that situation, yeah, we will. And it also depends on where you're going. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going, certain places at a certain age, you shouldn't even go.
Yeah, I agree.
At a certain age, you should be like, you know what? I done that.
Right.
I don't need to go there again. So yeah, that's the way I look at it. So what about you? Because you're single and you're out on a date with a female, is it different? Do you respond different if you're out with a female or you out with your buddies just hanging out?
I asked you the question, and it's funny because I'm not sure how to answer it. But what I'll say is, whenever I go out with a female, the job is always to make sure that she gets home. Okay. Now I want to be clear on that. I'm not saying that I take her home.
Right.
I want to be very clear.
Right.
I'm not saying that my job is to take her home. I'm saying whenever you go out with a female, my job is to make sure that she gets home.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, I had to clarify
That's right. That's right. I can.
So that's the thing. So I can't allow for a situation to get so out of hand that now she might not get home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got so wild and trying to defend her and all of that. Like, I just need to get her away from that situation.
Right.
You know?
Because you're trying to we're trying to have another date.
Right.
But if I'm defending you and that's not what you're used to looking at, that can go wrong on my behalf. I'm looking, in her eyes, I'm looking bad.
Right.
Because in her eyes, I went wrong because I couldn't control myself. Like you were saying, talking earlier.
Right.
About. I got you.
But it's not even just that. It's also depending on how I respond. Yeah, one, I could ruin my chances with her because now she's looking at me like, dang, he a hothead, or, you know, that was a little too aggressive for me. But I could also put myself in a situation to where now, I done did too much and now I'm locked up, or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, I can't take her home if I'm in handcuffs in jail.
That's true.
So again, my goal is always to make sure she gets home.
That's a good thing.
With them. In terms of my male friends, you got to be careful. Like you said, you got to know who you with. Mm-hmm. Because you got some guys that they just natural hotheads.
Right.
You got some guys, they hotheads once you start drinking. You got some guys that they cool when they by themselves, but for whatever reason, when they get in the group,
right,
now all of a sudden they tough guys.
Got you. I got
so
you.
You know what I'm saying? So to your point,
right,
you got to know who you with.
Yeah, right. You got to know your people you with.
And you got some guys that ain't willing to squabble up for whatever reason. It ain't even that they punks. It's just maybe they just trying to get back home to their family, or just that's not what they about.
And they don't come out too often, and they like, and some people can see something get ready to go wrong before it even get ready to go down.
Right.
This ain't gonna be, because we all have that. That's our gut. You know what? This may not be good.
Especially in Philly. I think every dude in Philly done had that.
No, it don't even matter where you from.
But I'm just saying, we from Philly, so I'm talking from Philly.
I get it, because it's just, you know what? Your gut a lot of times is your best coach, your best instinct. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what? And we always, and what we say with our, you know what, this may go wrong.
Right.
So, I'm going to go ahead, and we're saying this in our mind quickly, like, you know what, this may go wrong. Mm-hmm. Or there's times when I'm like, yo, we going out, who going? And they tell me the people that's going, I'll be like, you know what? Angie got me something to do, so I'm going to go ahead and I ain't going to make this one, but don't worry about it. And then I say, yo, how I go? Man, I should did what you did. Yeah.
No, that's
you feel what I'm saying?
That's real.
Man, I knew so-and-so was good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where'd y'all go? Oh, we went to this bar, man. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, you right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so to your point, you just got to know who your crowd is,
right, and
then just act accordingly.
Right. So I guess my final perspective on this whole, when things don't go your way, is when things don't go your way, you need to sit back, if you're able to, sit back, analyze, and try to figure out how you can pivot or be flexible to ride this wave a little bit and then make it go your way. That would be my final perspective. What about you?
I would say that my final perspective is, when things go wrong, do like the guy told me on the job interview, man. If you got 100 things on your list for the day, if one thing go right, that's a great day. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, everything is not going to go the way that we want it to.
Right.
But that's not a reason for you to crash out. That's not a reason for you to have tantrums or, be giving attitude to people and all that kind of stuff. Because honestly, that's one of the things that everybody has in common. There's not a person in this world that has not had things not go their way.
Right.
And on top of that, you never know the person who you teeing off on or getting upset with. You don't know what didn't go their way that day.
Right. Okay.
So now you got two people upset, arguing, and both of y'all mad, not even really mad at each other. Y'all mad about other stuff that just didn't go your way. Mm-hmm. So, my final perspective is, just to not let things not going your way ruin your day. Just try to salvage whatever the rest of your day, whatever the rest of that experience, whatever the rest of that situation is. Just try to make the best of whatever's left of it. Mm-hmm. And that's my final perspective.
So, on that note, this is the coach.
And I'm the Beacon. And this is the Point Blank Perspectives Podcast.